guys, welcome to the Whiskey Cross. So I've done the Whiskey Cross as our advanced technique this week because the Whiskey Cross is essentially a rear cross on a slicing jump. So like we saw in the rear cross, you would normally have a rear cross approaching jumps from the front on at that angle, whereas a whiskey is normally done at an approach from the side of the jump. So generally, we're taking the dogs to the back side of the obstacle and then rear crossing. So that's generally what a whiskey is. And again, it is a rear cross. So the dogs, need to be in front of us in this technique. So remember that, you can't get in front of your dog because there are other handling techniques you could use to handle this sequence, but we're going to do it with a whiskey at the moment so that you can have it in your toolbox because it's a very handy technique to have. Okay, so you should never say okay around the dogs. Anyway, the key points with a whiskey is, again, one, you need to be behind your dog. So you need to have your dog driving in front of you. And first of all, I'm just going to demonstrate what this is going to look like. So we're going into this tunnel. The dog's coming out and the dog's path is going to be this yellow line. So the dog's coming in front of me. It's going to take the obstacle and I'm rear crossing behind and driving to the next jump. So that is basically what the whiskey cross looks like. So if you think about our handling elements in this one, again, motion needs to be consistent all the way through the technique. You can't all of a sudden get there and then wait, because remember, if you slow down, the dog slows down. So you need to have a consistent pace through this to keep the dog driving through the technique. Position in this case is important. So first things first, remember, if the yellow line is my dog's line, I need to be about one step away from it. So about here is the right position I want to be in. Now, my running line for this, I'm going to be aiming towards the end of this wing here. This is where I want to be aiming myself at, because when the dog's about to take off, I don't have to step far to be across its line. So I want to aim at this corner here. And the reason also I want to do that is because the dogs need to be able to see the obstacle. If I push out here too far, you won't be able to see that tunnel open behind me, which means if the dog is here, they're not going to be able to see this obstacle. So you need to make sure your position allows the dog from the tunnel to see the obstacle that they're coming to next. So you can't block this wing. So make sure your position is on this side of the obstacle and driving towards the corner so you can cross the line reasonably quickly to do the rear cross. So that's position. Connection is the same as in a rear cross. Connecting with my dog out of the tunnel, and it continues to follow the dog over the obstacle to help it stay committed to this jump. My chest in this one, and you'll see my chest and my hand work together in this technique like it does in the rear. So we'll talk about them together. I want my chest and my hand to help the dog take this obstacle because I'll be moving forward while they're having to take the obstacle. So I want them to approach this line and be able to take that jump. To do that, I'm going to think about grabbing my dog's tail. So we're not going to physically grab the dog's tail, but if you think about steering your dog with their tail as they come past you, this will help you keep in mind how to keep your chest and your hand turned towards the jump. So if I'm thinking about my dog coming out of this tunnel, it's on the yellow line, it's now coming past me and going towards the obstacle. I'm thinking about, it's past me now, I'm going to grab hold of its tail so I can steer it over the bar and then I can let it go. So by doing that, you can see, by thinking about steering the dog with its tail, my chest and hand indicate the bar. So I'm thinking steer my dog over the jump. So you can see as I'm crossing the line of the dog here, my chest, my hand and my gaze, like the rear cross, are all saying take the bar. Even though my motion continues this way, you need to jump the jump and we continue on. So that's the biggest take-home message I've got is when you're doing this one, pretend you're grabbing their tail because it will help your body do the things that you're after. So my feet are going to continue to go forward and my chest and my hand are going to say take the bar. So again, coming through, grab the dog's tail, and then when it lands, you can change handling sides. Now, the trick on this one is going to be with the timing. You need to make sure the dog's in front of you and can see this obstacle. So I will post a video showing the stages you can use to teach younger dogs this technique, because the whiskey is one of those techniques that do require the dog to do a little bit of learning, because it's not natural yet for a lot of young dogs to be able to see that jump at such a tight angle, and they're not used to taking them at such a tight slicing jump. So we do need to make sure the dog understands what our body's telling them. So I will post that in the video, but I just want you to think about the key things when having a go at this. 1, the dog needs to be in front of you, and 2, your chest, your hand and your gaze need to help the dog take the bar while you're moving past. So again, we're going to go into the tunnel, connect with my dog out of the tunnel. My dog's coming in front of me, I've grabbed its tail, helped it over the line and pushed out to the next obstacle. So enjoy, and if you've got any questions, please let me know. Thanks guys.